I'm pleased to be here at the first Kogi State Economic and Investment Summit 2018. I must confess that I've always been fascinated by this extraordinary state, Kogi State. This state essentially captures the key essence of our nation, with a confluence of the two major rivers that define the geography of our country, and a true confluence of diversity and culture. It is notably in Kogi State that we have Emirs and Obas, two different streams of traditional monarchies coexisting with firm historical roots. These confluence of the rivers Niger and Benue, the confluence of cultures and traditions, are further complemented by a confluence of resources with fertile arable land that makes Kogi a leading producer of cashew, a potential major rice producer, a respected fishing community, amongst others, as well as a bed of some of the most prolific solid minerals, including coal, limestone, iron ore, and tin. This is undoubtedly the confluent state. The state is also the undisputed gateway between the north and the south, except that my own state, Kogi State, has very, very carefully taken that particular title of the gateway state. But permit me to say that this state stands in a strategic position, and it makes it perhaps the only state, at least we know, that shares boundaries with 10 other states, including the Federal Capital Territory. And this is made up of states from the north, the southwest, the south-south, the southeast. Kogi's location is therefore not just remarkable as a matter of Nigerian geography, but also our economy. I'm glad to say that everyone I've met so far in Kogi State is so upbeat about the potentials and possibilities of this wonderful state. From your governor, my dear brother, to his deputy, and to every other Kogan whom I have spoken to, or who I have encountered in the few hours I've been here, and even before now. Everyone has an optimistic belief in the ability of this state and its people and the prospects. And this, of course, tells us that there is great hope in the land, regardless of what the challenges might be. I'm also personally excited for what you and I see that is possible economically and in other ways in Kogi State. Within a few months of his assuming office, His Excellency Governor Yahaya Bello met with me in my office and presented me with the new direction blueprint of his administration, published in a compendium. I must say that I found, reading through it, that it was both ambitious and far-sighted. I'm also told that there is a 32-year infrastructure master plan being developed, with a plan to pass it into law to ensure sustainability. This long-term thinking, digging deep roots, ensuring that plans are well thought out and sustainable is the way of the future. This administration deserves all the commendation for this, which is why an economic summit here in Kogi State is one that would understandably generate considerable local and international attention. The summit is timely as well as it is strategic, not only to draw attention to the confluence of opportunities in Kogi State, but also to reinvigorate and inspire the people of Kogi, as you are reminded of your prospects as a state and the prospects that your state has to offer, and the possibilities that are so unique to this state. We in the federal government recognize these vast assets that Kogi State has in natural resources, in geolocation, but above all, in human capacity. A gifted, hardworking, and entrepreneurial people with a record of producing renowned businessmen and women, and historically, a strong civil service workforce. But Kogi's history and its present pale in comparison to its incredibly promising future, powered by the energy and optimism of its young and able workforce, led by its dynamic and forward-looking government. It is to these harbingers of greatness, and I refer to the young people, of tomorrow, that we must devote much more resources and creativity to providing relevant education. I'm glad to see that this features prominently in the plan. Our recognition of Kogi is not misplaced. You are host to the biggest steel industry in Nigeria, the Ajaokuta Steel Company, and one of the largest cement factories in Africa, the Dangote Cement Company of Bajana, and also the highly prolific Jakura Marble Factory. We have now resolved the legal issues holding down work in Ajaokuta and the Ajaokuta Steel Complex, just as the Honorable Minister has said. We are currently reviving the 110 megawatt power plant, which will service not just the steel complex, but also the rest of it will go into the grid to add to the electricity supply from the Geregu NIPP, all of which would benefit power supply also in Kogi State. The technical audit of the Ajaokuta complex is on as we speak, and we hope that this will soon be completed to enable the conclusion of the investment process. Maximizing Ajaokuta's production capacity will unlock a key area of our economy. Steel is not only critically needed, but is also versatile in many respects. Also, as we speak, work is going on the Itakwe-Warri-Ajaokuta rail, and the rail route is being extended to Abuja, so that the entire mining corridor is covered by rail. When completed, this will be a major trunk rail line for the movement of goods and other services and people. In addition, we've also opened up the inland waterways for movement of goods. During the tenure of Boss Mustafa, the current Secretary to the Government of the Federation, when he was DG of NIWA, the Barrow port was dredged. This makes Kogi, of course, with the dredging of the port, we now have a port. This makes Kogi one of the most business-ready industrial and manufacturing zones in the country, with a working complex of rail, power, and the port. Your Excellency, ladies and gentlemen, it is clear that our country has unbelievable potential. But three issues hold us back. 1, corruption. 2, corruption. 3, corruption. This is largely what is responsible for the inconsistencies in policy and failure to complete projects and failure to complete anything else. May I, with respect, say that what sets the Buhari leadership from others is the prudential management of national resources. So despite 60% less revenue, despite the fact that we've earned 60% less revenue that was earned from 2015, we have, by stopping grand corruption, made the highest capital spend in the history of the country, in the sum of 1.3 trillion naira. We are for the first time taking on the game-changing infrastructure projects. So we are today building the Lagos-Kano standard gauge rail, and we started it with the Lagos-Ibadan, a portion of it, beginning from the Lagos port at Apapa. We are also building, after 40 years of abandonment, the Mambila Hydro project. We're of course building the second Niger bridge, and this is going on daily. We have signed up for the Lagos-Calabar rail project. We're daily increasing power supply. And once we conclude some strategic transmission projects, we will truly see appreciable improvement in domestic and industrial power supply. Also, we have given more support to state governments than any other government since 1999. As of September 2017, the total support, and when I speak of support, I talk of excess crude account loan and budget support facilities. Excluding Paris Club refunds, we have given to the states in total support 876.3 billion. naira. If we add the Paris Club refunds, we have disbursed 1.91 trillion naira. Now, I make this point, and we must understand that this is not a gift from the federal government. These, in many ways, are entitlements of the state government, and some of them are loans. But no previous government has used those funds in the way that we have used them to assist the states in a time of need. And so the 1.91 trillion, which we have disbursed to states, has helped the states in so many ways, not just by way of the current expenditure, but also supporting some of their capital expenditure. We've experienced an agricultural revolution, and His Excellency, the Governor of Kogi State, has mentioned it. We're doing close to 15 million metric tons of paddy rice yearly now, which is the highest, of course, in the history of the country. We used to spend almost $3 billion on rice importation. Now rice importation has been cut by 80%. Well, we've also been actively partnering with the private sector and of course with the states. With the private sector, we have, through the Quarterly Business Forum and the Industrial Council, collaborated actively with the private sector in many respects. We believe that the private sector is the key to the economic growth of this country. The key to the economic growth of this country is the private sector. So when we talk of investments, and we talk of what Kogi State will be in the next few years, a lot is going to depend on how we're able to attract private sector money into this state, so that so that all of our dreams and all of our plans can come to reality. It is the private sector. The game changer in all of this is private sector investment. Your Excellency, the federal government's commitment to business and industry is well matched by our determination to offer opportunities to young people, to artisans, to traders, and even the poor and the vulnerable. Our program of social investment, to the tune of 500 billion, again, is the largest social investment fund that has ever been deployed in this country. In our N-Power program, we have so far given jobs, and I just speak of Kogi State, we've so far given jobs to 4,495 beneficiaries. These are young graduates here in Kogi State. Another 7,724 young graduates have been pre-selected for the next phase of employment. The National Directorate of Employment will also be training 3,000 young people for technical and vocational training just here in Kogi State this year. We've also given loans to 4,534 small businesses under our government enterprise and empowerment program, and another 7,914 are awaiting their own loans here in this state. We're giving cash transfers of 5,000 naira monthly to 12,269 households, or 36,259 beneficiaries in this state. We expect to add 22,250 households, or 88,571 beneficiaries by the end of the year. We've also trained 276 cash transfer facilitators here in Kogi State. As you may know, I'm here in Kogi State both for this summit and also to inaugurate the Kogi State MSME clinics. Now, this is a special project that the federal government is doing across the state to promote and encourage medium and small businesses. So I'm here today with heads of government agencies that are important in granting approvals and licenses to small businesses, such as NAFDAC, SON, Corporate Affairs Commission, Bank of Industry, FIRS, and even SMEDAN. They will interact with owners of small businesses with a view to resolving their problems with registration or pre-investment approvals. We're also planning to set up a one-stop office here, which will have NAFDAC, SON, and other regulatory agencies permanently stationed in Kogi State. Your Excellency, I congratulate you again and the good people of Kogi State on this auspicious occasion. And we look forward to continue to work with you in expanding and sustaining prosperity within your state and for our nation. God bless Kogi State. God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Thank you.
Your Excellency, the Vice President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Professor Yemi.